Imagine this. You're sitting there staring at your phone, wondering why it's been hours, maybe days, since you've heard from him. You start telling yourself a story. If he cared, he'd text. If he wanted me, I'd know. If I mattered, he wouldn't be this quiet. And that story starts eating away at your confidence. But here's what I want you to consider. Silence doesn't always mean disinterest. Sometimes silence means conflict. Not conflict with you, conflict within him. Because there are men who meet someone, feel something, and instead of running toward it, they retreat. Why? It's their way. Because feelings are terrifying. Feelings mean change. Feelings mean vulnerability. Feelings mean he can no longer control the game. And for someone who's been used to control of his emotions, his life, his independence, that can feel like standing on the edge of a cliff with no safety net. When he pulls back, it's not necessarily because you're not enough. It could be because you are more than enough. He feels the pull towards you, and that pull threatens the comfortable little world he's been living in. So he withdraws, he overthinks, he fights with himself. Now here's the important part. His battle isn't yours to fight. You don't win by chasing him. You don't win by over-explaining your worth. You win by standing tall in your value and letting him resolve his own war. If he's truly meant for you, he'll stop fighting his feelings and start fighting for you. And if he doesn't, you don't lose. You simply make space for the man who won't confuse silence with interest, who won't disappear when emotions get real, who won't treat connection as a threat, but as the greatest gift of his life. Because the right man isn't afraid of his feelings for you. He's grateful for them. Do you want me to polish this into more of not Matthew Hussey's conversational rhythm, like the way he builds tension, asks quick reflective questions, then drops the aha moment, or keep it more poetic like this? When someone goes quiet, it's easy to assume the worst. Our mind races to the conclusion that if they cared, they would show it. If they wanted us, they would prove it. But silence doesn't always mean disinterest. It can mean hesitation, fear, or even a deep internal struggle with emotions they're not used to handling. Think about it. When we feel something strong for someone, when we feel something strong for someone, it can shake the foundation of how we've been living. Some people lean into that excitement, others retreat to process it. Silence, in that case, is not rejection, it's a pause. It's someone buying time to figure out what these feelings mean, how they change the story they've been telling themselves, and whether they're ready to act on them. The mistake is to always equate quietness with lack of care. Sometimes silence is the space a person takes because the feelings are too real, too big, and too overwhelming to manage in the moment. It doesn't make the emotions any less powerful. It just means they're still learning how to handle them. Do you want me to make this sound more like Matthew Hussey in a coaching moment, using short conversational sentences, little pauses, and questions that pull the listener in? You said, feelings can be terrifying. Expend this topic without heading subheadings and closing remarks. ChatGPT said, feelings can be terrifying because they strip away the control we think we have over our lives. You can be going along just fine, comfortable, predictable, and then suddenly someone walks in and everything shifts. You catch yourself smiling for no reason, overthinking what you're going to say, caring about how you come across. That loss of control is exhilarating, but it's also frightening. For some people, especially those who have built their lives on independence or emotional walls, feelings are like an intruder. They signal risk of being hurt, risk of rejection, risk of having to give up the safety of detachment. When feelings show up, they demand vulnerability, and vulnerability is exposure. It's opening yourself to someone else's power to disappoint you, to leave, to not feel the same way. That's why people often pull back when emotions deepen, not because the feelings aren't real, but because they are the stronger the connection, the more dangerous it feels to someone who isn't ready to let go of control. Fear of those emotions doesn't mean the bond isn't powerful. It means it's so powerful, it unsettles the ground beneath their feet. Would you like me to sharpen this into Matthew Hussey's conversational tone, where he breaks it down almost like he's talking directly to someone in that exact situation? When someone pulls back, the natural instinct is to think you've done something wrong, that their distance is a reflection of your value. But often the opposite is true. The pullback happens not because you don't matter, but because you matter so much. When someone feels a deeper connection than they expected, it can trigger fear. Suddenly, this isn't just casual. The right man won't spend his time running from what he feels. He won't get lost in endless hesitation or hide behind excuses about timing, fear, or uncertainty. When he feels something real, he leans into it. He doesn't fight against his emotions. He channels them into action. That doesn't mean he'll be perfect or that he'll always know the right thing to say. But you'll see consistency, you'll see effort, you'll feel his intention. Instead of treating connection as a threat, he'll see it as an opportunity, something worth protecting, worth building on. When a man is right for you, his energy isn't in resisting what he feels. It's in showing up for you because of what he feels. He'll want you to know where you stand. He'll make space for you in his world. And even when life is complicated, he'll look for reasons to move toward you, not away from you. That's how you tell the difference. A man who's overwhelmed by feelings may retreat, but a man who's ready will rise to them. He won't fight to stay safe from love. He'll fight to create it with you. Would you like me to reshape this into a shorter, more hard-hitting version? Like a script Matthew Hussey would use for our minute viral clip? To the end of the day, his silence, his hesitation, his pullback, none of those are a measure of your worth. They're reflections of where he is, not of who you are. You don't need to chase to prove or to shrink yourself to fit his comfort zone. The man who's right for you won't treat his feelings like a problem to escape. He'll see them as the reason to step forward. He won't fight against what he feels. He'll fight for the chance to build something real with you. And that's the kind of love you deserve, one that doesn't confuse you, doesn't make you doubt, but makes you feel chosen every single day. Would you like me to weave this conclusion together with the earlier expanded points so it reads like one flowing, powerful Matthew Hussey style speech?